Hey everyone, welcome to this week's show. You may notice that this is not Corey. This is little TVT over here.
Miller,
Has a lot to say. So thanks for joining me, Travis.
it's a pleasure. It's my first time. It's a pleasure.
Been a while, actually, right? Since probably like season one of our show where we used to record it in person. I think you were on there once or twice.
Yeah, I think it was like me, you, and Nick, and like you guys were like drunk. I think was when
Yeah,
last time.
that sounds right. Well, nice to see you back. Everyone knows you're very talkative in the chat, so you're probably gonna have a lot to say. Just a reminder, boys, the champion here, sitting here with the trophy. Maybe one day one of you will get your hands on it. Travis, not likely.
No, I'm a mess.
Just to remind you, your t-shirts, you can order a t-shirt, championship t-shirt,
I've been
$30.
paying for mine for like 5 years. I should have enough credit saved up.
We have some interesting results from last week. I mean, it's early in the season, so you don't really know what to expect from anyone's team, but everyone has their biases towards who's the top half and bottom half of the league. But every once in a while, you get that shift, right? So I guess let's get into last week's results here. First matchup, everyone's favorite champion, now 2-0 after defeating Domo, Captain Crunch. He'll always be Domo to us, who's now sitting at 0-2-0. What do you think of this matchup, Travis?
Well, you're pretty stacked, right? So it's kind of tough. He put up a good fight. But like there's nothing he can do. Like I think you made a couple ads on the weekend too. I think you did too. Actually, we made a trade to kind of bolster you because you were like what, one category off on Sunday.
Yeah, everything was close. Plus minus was a 1 point difference. Goals, assists going into the final games were one apart. What really cost him was they gave Vladar a start on Sunday after he started Friday, and that he got lit up by Detroit, and it cost him his save percentage. I had all the other goalie stats. It was a 7-6 game, and then ends up 8-5 because I took that one goalie stat because Vladar got the start.
Yeah, it's like literally one minus. Well,
Yep.
he took minus over you. Shorthanded points were tied. He had a shorthanded point. You still tied him. Like that's tough. When you get that stat, like you're hoping it gives you an edge. 4 shots,
I
one
got that
goalie win.
shorty off of a pickup from Friday. I picked up a player on Friday for a game, and Backlund got me a short-handed point.
That's brutal. Like he had 42 pims, like 15 power play points. Like his team,
He played well.
just like horrendous goalie stats killed him. But yeah, like I think he did pretty good with what he did.
Another victory for Team Ramrod. I'll take it. Miller time. This is the one you want to talk about. Miller time here, 1-1 now after defeating Wild Husky Hockey. Braden go with a rebrand because that seems to work for people. 0-2-0 here. 8-3 victory for you. What happened here?
Oh fuck! Like what's he like? He made that Norris trade. And of course, Norris scores twice, so I'm like shaking my head. But luckily, Murs got him a win, but allowed like 4 goals in there. So he took 3 stats, but he took plus minus by 1. Wins by 2, even though I had a 931, he had a 902. Yeah, like it was typical Braden bye week. You know what I mean? Like Braden comes up, you take the vacation, you go to the casino, you have a good time, right? Like, but yeah, no, he really wasn't there.
Big win for you to stabilize your team after we week 1 was rough for everyone. It was just a weird schedule, so
I didn't even look at it. And like, no offense to Plums, because Plums 2-0 now, but I don't think either one of us would have beat like 10 of the teams in the league. In all honesty, it was a pathetic performance from both sides. Like Plums 2-0, I'm not trying to trash him, but like the games were so awkward. It's like I think I had 3 goals the entire week. It's like fuck me, but
that was me last week. Only 3 goals.
Yeah, but it was just an awkward week, right? It's like whoever got wins out of that week, good for you, because the games were awful.
Paulie the goalie, now 0-2-0 after losing the Pacioretty to Rumble, who's now 2-0. 11-3. What happened here?
Oh, yeah, Polly's like this year is like not his year. Like Ovechkin can't score a save his life. He took 14 shots the other night and got his first and got a goal out of it, just struggling. Um, I'm trying to see his week. I'm sorry, I'm screwed up.
Wow.
I'm new. I'm new. Foley versus Patches. Patches got a good team too.
He does.
But yeah, goaltending killed Sean. Like Patch even had the shutout too, so he lost literally 4 of the 5 goalie stats. Nick pounded him in goals. Plus minus wasn't close. Yeah, Patches just gave it to him. Like he only had 69 shots.
I think he's regretting moving or not keeping Kreider.
Yeah. Well, like you hit the nail on the head too about like Ovechkin. Like you probably should have moved him when his value was really high, right? Because like now, like he's like that team is trash. Like even like Tom Wilson, like I love Wilson, but I don't know if I'd even touch Wilson right now, just because that whole team is going to be minus like nonstop. They're an awful hockey team. Like I said, Ovechkin had to take 14 shots. Was it last night or like
That was last night.
Yeah, had to score 1 goal. Like fuck, it's just going to be a struggle all year for them. But yeah, Kreider's a machine. Like I don't know if I would have like keeping him last year was awkward, but then to drop him the year after was kind of different. But
Yeah, I don't think that was the right choice. I think he just wanted to try something new, right? Because to him, he's at the same base for like 4 or 5 seasons and nothing's happened. So I think he wanted to mix it up. And we'll talk about that again when we get to the trades.
yeah,
Because he mixed it up his keepers a bit last week in the trade, right? So Casey, Hughes, your daddy, 1-1 after whopping 12-0
whopping
victory
mark.
over Mark, the 2023-2024 champions. Not off to a good start, 0-1-1. What happened here?
Well, Mark almost took saves. That's really it. Like he was only 3 saves behind, but yeah, he got fucking smashed. 5 goals, 3 assists, plus 5, 12 pims, 5 power play points, 25 shots, 3 hits. Hits are close. Blocks are 5 too, so those are kind of close. No wins for Mark. Goals against was atrocious. Yeah, that's Casey's got a decent team though, right? Like, then we'll talk about trades too. I don't know if the Brinkat one comes in today or not, but yeah, like Casey's team.
Everything that's already happened, we'll be talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I know. Like, I think Casey's got a good team, and it's Mark. I don't.
I agree.
Mark,
Casey has a sneaky good team this year.
he does.
He's 1-1. He could easily have been 2-0. I got the better of him in that weird week. It could have easily went the other way. Casey has a sneaky good team, a lot of good pieces on his roster, especially with the Levy draft pick.
That's not now though. Like you're probably talking next year before Levy
but he's
matters.
getting his starts.
Yeah,
right.
Like Casey realistically probably should move those 2 6s for a goalie maybe if he's trying to win. But yeah, like his team is. I'd say his team is really good minus those goalies. That's pretty Domo-ish down there, but
if he can, right? So it's tough out there. Sometimes you can find a goalie for nothing, and sometimes you have to pay. It depends on how good the goalie is, I guess. So
it's all time too, right? It's like finding it when they're available because like they're just never available, and then they are.
Yeah,
right?
You got to be ready when they are to pull that trigger.
That's it. Don't go sending blind transfers of 6 and 7s for Murs, but you got to definitely talk about it for sure.
Sauce Pass 2-0 after defeating Daltry the Beef, who's now 1-1 at 7-5 victory. What happened here?
Daltry beat himself. I'm pretty sure if he still had Hill, he wins that week. What did Hill have this week for stats? 2 wins, a 243, and a 900. So if you take those wins away, he beats Corey and wins. I can't do save percentage, but I think that would make them pretty close. He would take saves. Yeah. The Hill for a 7th, which is questionable to start with, is the definition of how he lost the week.
I think there's a couple people in the league, Daltry, O'Brien, underestimated Hill. You don't pay the guy after he wins the cup and be like he's going to get like 40% of the starts. I know he's getting at least a 60.
Yeah, that might have been oversight, but like O'Brien wanted him. Like O'Brien was willing to pay. It's just Corey was on the horn at the right time versus Daltry, but Daltry drafted really well too. And like moving Hill, like obviously when you play him, it's like a 2-for-1, right? Like you're not getting the stats and Corey's getting them. But like that's literally a loss right there because you didn't have Hill for a sevens, right? But
Yeah.
that's the difference in that week. Like their stats are pretty comparable.
Sometimes it's better to hold on to those players, right? But people get allured. There's a deal. Maybe I like being involved in a deal. It's not always the right call is to make that deal. So
You don't need to tell me, baby. I don't have to win a trade to make a trade.
forgot about Dre. 1-0-1 after defeating Suck My Ojic, who is now 1-1. 9-5 victory for Nick. What happened here?
Just smashed him in offense. Like Nick had 37 points, Neil had 18. Pim's basically 2-1 as well, 54-28. Power play points 7-5. Game winning goals 3-0. Nick fucking gave it to him. It's like it looks closer than it should be, but like those stats aren't close. Neil took wins, but Nick took save percentage. But yeah, like Nick really should be 2-0. That tie to mark's kind of garbage. And without Bass too, that shows how good Nick's team is. But yeah, no, it's just Nick being Nick. Like that team is stacked. He's gonna roll probably like 6-5-1-1 and when Bass gets back, and then yeah, he'll be in the playoffs.
He's been real aggressive on the trades, which we'll
Don't
talk
get me started. Don't get me started.
about. Lotto Max HQ 2-0 after defeating Fetch Me a Drink. Now 1-1. What do you think of this?
Again, Plum's drafted well. Like he was a seller last year. I think he drafted really well. The Besser trade, it is what it is. But yeah, like Dan just, I will always say Dan needs a goalie. But Plum's goalie stats were really good too. So even if Dan had, like even say like an Oettinger here, like Plum's had a 939 and a 165 with a shutout. So it looks like Dan got hammered in goalie stats. It's a little because his goalies weren't good, but then again, Plum's goalies showed up.
That's tough to beat those numbers. So
That's it. Like, yeah, Dan had 3 shorties last week. He had 2 game winners and lost 3-2. Like, that's brutal. He lost by 3 hits. But no, like Dan's draft was basically, I thought was almost perfect minus Cousins. And then not getting a goalie, but there was nothing there. Like, what do you do, Bob?
you would have had to
Yeah,
grab them in the first round.
I think Dan got a little shafted there, like with Plum's goalie stats. But yeah, like no, it's a 2 good teams. I think they're probably both playoff teams.
We'll see. It's still real early. A lot can change.
That's it. Yeah, but it's both drafted very well.
Yeah, they're both strong teams. 0-2-0 Team Rocket after losing 10-2 to the Detroit Red Wings. I threw Detroit in there because everyone knows the Red Wings. 1-1. Travis, what happened here?
Well, let's see. Again, goals were kind of close, like 12-9. Red Wings pounded them in assists, plus minus. He pounded them. Game-winning goals again, 3 for Derek and like none for Berge. Hits were close. Yeah, it's just like Plum's goalies were atrocious. But I didn't really expect his team to be this bad. Like I didn't really look at his draft, but he had a lot of high picks. So to be 0-2, and it looks like there's really no bright side to his season. I know he got a good deal for a Fleury. But yeah, just Derek's just deeper. Derek's got great goalies. His goalies weren't great last week. But 9-11 with a 264, 3 wins. But
That's all I needed.
that's it. Yeah, I think just yeah, this is gonna be just more. No offense, Bersh, but I think this is more what you're gonna see because his draft was kind of meh.
Well, there we have it for last week's results. Speaking about like last week's results here, some predictions last week. Derek and I both went 5 for 8. With everyone else, Corey, Plums, and Daltrey going 4 for 8.
You guys got all the you guys got most of them wrong.
Oh, I got 5. Right.
Jeez, rookie shit here.
3 wrong.
Only one was everyone taking Poley over Patches.
Most people, yeah.
People
That
probably took
backfired
advantage
on
of
itself.
Plums.
Plums taking points. It was another one that we lost on. And
Yeah,
let's
those are
talk
just
some
common.
trades.
Oh, ooh,
Now, this
yeah.
guy's really opinionated, so we're gonna get some interesting takes, I think. Uh, first trade we'll talk about here. We're going back to last week. We have Brock Besser and a 13th going to Plums for Pedersen and an 8th going O'Brien's way. What happened here? Or what do you think of this one? Sorry.
I think there's buying hot. Brock's been. I traded for Brock before. He's hurt me. I traded him. Uh, he's he's just one of those average guys. You know what I mean? Like he'll pop in a couple goals here. He'll disappear for fucking weeks to a month. Patches got paid. Patches moved him when he was hot. I think he got a couple goals for Plums the other night there, but like, yeah, I think it's a bit much just because Besser just is so inconsistent. Um, but yeah, I think Patches wins that one pretty easily. Just with Brock's just not consistent at all.
Yeah, right now he looks good, but I don't know in the long run if that's worth an 8th. So
That's it. Yeah, if he scores you 35 goals, and sure, but I don't know if he stays on that pace by any means.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. But right now, I have to give it to O'Brien. For getting an 8 for him. But this could turn out to be a steal should Besser perform well all year.
That's a common thing in this league too, which I was trying to bring up yesterday. Like I talked to O'Brien about this. People only buy when people are hot. Like I got Demko when he was a backup with Holtby, which that was never going to last, but I paid a 7th. I got Tage Thompson when he was kind of fluttering in between for a 7th, right? Like Besser, you bought him when he's hot, right? If you want Besser, he's like, you know what I mean? Like he's not an 8th, right? You're buying him when he's hot. You're paying top price when he's hot. Like that's not the Besser you get, right? But everyone just seems to want to buy things when they're high and then get upset when the price is high. Well, I'm not going to trade someone who's running hot typically, right? Like you got to buy low, and that's when the Timo Meyer thing we'll get probably next week. But that's why I moved him is because like he's been low for so long. It's like I'm just not. I don't care anymore. But last year when he's got 40 goals, everyone's like, "Oh fuck, I want him! I want him!" Well, of course you fucking want him. Like
he's
playing
playing
on him when he's got 40 goals and 200 shots and like 150 hits. You know what I mean? But I was trying to move him at the first of the year to O'Brien. O'Brien's like, I can't have him. No, I can't do it. He's not scoring goals, this and that. I'm like, all right, he's shooting. He's going to score. And then as soon as he had like a couple multi-goal games, he wanted to trade for him. They wanted the same price I was trying to move him for when he was playing bad. It's like, well, that's not how that works. You don't get prime for a good price. It's just not how it works. You got to buy low and just hope it works out.
Exactly. You got to pick your targets, buy low, and manage those assets, right? Like
that's it.
Next trade was a pretty big one. Sean shaking up his core. He received Thomas Hurdle, Darcy Kemper, a 6th and a 10th. Going his way, my way, as it was me receiving Connor Murphy, Connor Hellebuck, a 17th and an 18th. What do you think of this trade?
So it's like what, a 3 for 1, 4 for 1, 3,
4 for 1, I guess, like essentially.
Yeah, Thomas Hurdle's kind of the mad one, but yeah, like I like Darcy Kemper, but again, the situation's awful. Like the team sucks. Like I'm a Caps fan, they're garbage. But yeah, like no, you got a goalie who's always. I didn't actually know. I looked it up the other day. Like he's always above 900 save percentage.
He played 67 games last year.
What's that?
He played like 67 games last year.
Yeah, like he's like the back end of that team, right? You paid the price, right? Like I know, like there was a couple other people in on it too. But yeah, like no, like he's the kind of goal you want. Like they're just not available. Like people don't want to pay the things you pay the price for. It's never available. McDavid, like tier 1 goalies. But yeah, you have a goalie who's always got like a 9-10 save percentage. You moved Kemper again, who is a good goalie but in a bad situation, a 6th. Like what are you getting with a 6th? Like Marchand was picked up last year for a 6th. You can get Josh Norris or Mers for a 6, I guess. In the 10th is kind of just the fluffer, I guess, right?
That was
Thomas Hurdle's not bad now yet. Like a center that just gets average points and a huge minus really isn't.
He puts up a lot of hits though to Hurdle.
Does he?
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So he grinds. He does a lot of things. The big deal for this was that Sean was looking for that sweetener for that fourth piece. Some GMs weren't willing to throw in a second pick with a good forward and a good goalie. Where I offered him a better goalie that he was getting in other deals, a lesser player, but I gave him that second pick upgrade, and that's what got the deal done. So sometimes you have to pay a little.
If you're talking about making and breaking your team, where you get a keeper worthy goalie in a tenth, what is the maker or breaker? Like,
Pay the 10th.
yeah, that's not me. Like, I'd pay that all day because I'm a little frivolous with my trades. Like, I'll win one, I'll lose one. It's not to me. I don't care about winning the value of the trade. Does it make me better?
Yeah.
So if I don't have a goalie and Hellbuck's available, I'll probably move 3 or 4 assets. If it doesn't make my team worse in those positions, then I'll move them. Like, but yeah, no, I thought you did great. Like the fact Hellbuck was available is pretty staggering because you just don't see guys like that available.
I've already got a really aggressive offer for Hellebuck. I won't mention the GM, but I will tell you, it was tough to refuse. 2 6s, 2 7s, and
who has 2 6s and 2 fucking 7s? Who has 2? Is Braden? Is it Braden? Because Braden has a 6. It's Nick Sosier, obviously.
Pretty aggressive trade though. 2 6s, 2 7s, but you have to be aggressive when you want a piece that's not available, right?
Well, it's Josh Norris, it's Lincoln's a 6 and a 7.
Yeah. Well, it was tough to say no to all those assets. It was, but like it would kill my team.
And I'm offended because I got an offer from him too for a goalie, and it wasn't nearly that good.
What was your goalie, Hellebuck?
No, it's Demko. They're not. Hellebuck's on a different tier for sure. The team's just better in front of them too.
And we got some little dinky trades coming up here that were just like, it was Sunday, so people need to win. Forgot about Dre receiving a 14th round in exchange for Kotkaniemi and a 15th from Daltrey. What do you think of this?
Yes. I don't know if I'd pay a pick to get Kotkaniemi personally, but like I think he's just a waiver guy. Was that like a Sunday trade?
I want to say it was a Sunday. Let's see here. The 19th. It was not a Sunday.
Oh yeah, like I don't know if I would really move anything to get a guy like Kotkaniemi because he's just gonna get dropped again. Like,
yeah, but I think he was dropped.
Of course it was. But yeah, no, I think that's a good trade. What Dre traded that, of course he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, yeah, again, good on Nick for getting value out of something that really there's no value to. But
Dre involved again. This time with me, a rare deal. We do maybe one a year. I received a 16th rounder in exchange for Connor Murphy and an 18th. I had too many D-men. I needed a roster spot. I got a 2-round upgrade for Connor Murphy, who was a throw-in of the Hellebuck deal. What do you think of this?
My screen's not really loading. So this trade is the 14th for the 18th?
Nope. No, it's further down. It's going to be a 16th for Connor Murphy and an 18th.
Oh, it doesn't show a name there. All right, yeah. Yeah, so again, yeah, it's you're just moving a guy to get a pick upgrade. Like, yeah, and Connor Murphy's good grit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he'll get you 4 hits one game, next game won't get you any. I rocked him last year a bit just because that's what he does. But yeah, he's a good defenseman that'll get you hits and blocks here and there, and it didn't cost anything. So
the solid game. Actually, this one was a significant deal. Sean going out to pick up Marc-Andre Fleury and a 16th from Kyle for Motombo and an 8th. What do you think of this?
Feels rich. But yeah, Gus is the guy. Like I thought he made the right choice keeping Gus. But yeah, I'm not sure if Fleury's worth that 8th. I don't know what the situation is there. I know Gus got led at least once in the last week, but
it's Gus's net. It's just I think you want to grab the duo. Minnesota doesn't let a lot of goals.
That's it. You can't keep him in Gus, and you got to keep Gus over Fleury.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm probably just trying to get the tandem. So yeah, it's I think it's a little steep, but because he has a duo, it's probably fine. They're a good team too, so they should get you wins. But yeah, it feels a little steep, but
I don't know if I like an 8th, but it's like what else do you pay? Fleury is a guy who could easily take the net over this year. Not because Gus is bad, just because Fleury is good, right?
Yeah,
And it's probably his final run coming up soon. If
it
it's
gives
not
him a
this
duo
year,
too.
probably
So
next.
like that's the big thing too. You get a duo on a good team, right? That's the thing.
Yeah. Daltrey hooking up with his dad here. Domo receiving Quinn Hughes and a 17th in exchange for Barrett Hayden and a 7th. What do you think of this?
Oh my god, defensemen that don't hit. Like if you like assists, enjoy Quentin Hughes, I guess. But yeah, like I think Casey got burned last year. Like he regretted it instantly. I think he paid a 7th for Hughes as well, and had it from Mark. I think he had to trade him for a 9th. Was the best he can get for him. I thought that was a bit much. When he was a great hockey player, like if you were building a franchise in like NHL 2024, but he just doesn't do enough.
Not
Like
enough
I
fantasy
want
value.
him, but I'm not trading a 7th for him. Like I trade a 7th for Truba. Darlene went last year for a 7th. Probably wouldn't this year. But yeah, for a 7th for a defenseman, like they got to be getting you like hits, blocks, in like probably 40 points. And he was just going to get you 60 points probably.
That's my thought process on it too. Is that if I'm going after a defenseman, they better provide a lot across the board, right? It's not necessarily all points. I want my forwards to get me points. I want my defense to grind out those stats that my forwards can't do for me.
Yeah, like he's definitely rosterable. Like I'm not saying
Oh
that,
yeah,
but like for the quality pick, like you need someone that does more than just assists. But
agreed. Um, Team Rocket at it again here. This time with Domo. Domo was on a rampage here over the weekend, trying to get as many man games as he could. We went into that final day. He had a man game of 5, and I had 1, and he still lost. So Gustav Forsling and a 10th going to Team Rocket for Anderson and a 15th. What do you think of this?
it's a lot for uh just again that's your what like your Connor Murphy right in a nutshell. Same player.
He played Friday, Anderson. He got suspended 4 games
That's yeah. Oh, that was that dirty hit on
on
line.
Line, which actually
Yeah.
hurt me because now he's out.
Oh no.
I got five injuries right now and a dead roster space.
You'll be fine. It's too much for again. Like he's like a Connor Murphy, right? You could have got Connor Murphy what a week prior for a 16.
Yeah.
They're like the same person.
So Sunday morning, I'm like, I need a player at least to try maybe get some shots to maintain my lead over shots. So I approached TVT here. We made a deal. I traded back the guy that he just traded me to hold on to when I made the drop, and a 17th for Jake DeBrusk and an 18th. DeBrusk got me a few shots. That's all I needed him for. No points, but I think actually he got an assist, which might have played a key factor. But it was just a small little Sunday morning deal. Anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, like my team's not usually good enough, or my weeks aren't usually that good. But I had my like I said, I had my Braden bye week. I was at the casino, had a few drinks. I didn't really need, and my ad drops were JVR and Coyle that week, and they both played, so I didn't have an ad drop spot. So that's why we did the switch first. He gave me the drop player, and I traded him Siegenthaler. Yeah, but like that's just the Sunday move, right? You upgrade those late round picks. It's not a lot, but in like 6 weeks, that 17th could be a 14th, right? When you start running out of picks.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, just a
keep
friendly trade.
improving your picks.
That's it. I posted JVR and Coyle available, and no one messaged me. And I got a message at 7 o'clock for them, but I was napping.
They waited all day to see if they needed it, and then
He was at your D&D party there. Your Dungeons and Dragons.
Daltrey for the last. He had mentioned that when he was leaving, actually, that hey, I might reach out to him.
Yeah,
he won that win against Corey Bad.
I don't know if it would have mattered. Neither one really did anything. But.
Captain Crunch at it again. This time picking up Pavel Zacha at an 18th in exchange for 17th from Nick. What do you think of this?
Yeah, like your typical Sunday acts. Um, I'm actually surprised Pavel Zach is out there because you'd think like him and Coyle are what the 1-2 centers there, not Porter guy or Fortress, whatever his name is.
He's been pretty good,
Um,
Poitras.
yeah, but yeah, like no, it's just your typical Sunday, desperate for a win, move a late round pick.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, this one.
This is again a drop that was sold. Trent Frederick at an 18th going to Domo, and a 17th going to the Red Wings.
Yep. Just when you're up 9-3, no cast or close, you have the freebies of those moving those picks, right? Like
Yeah, it's beautiful thing advantage to have, right? At some point. So here's a big enough deal here. An actual real deal because this is a new week that started. We have Sauce Pass hooking up with Dan. Keandre Miller and John Gibson going to Zvechby a drink. Sergachev and Wilson going to Sauce Pass. What do you think of this?
I didn't really like the trade for either one. Like in all honesty, like I said, I think Dan has a great team. I think he drafted like I've drafted high. Like I've had rounds where I've drafted everything in the first 10 or years, and my team really wasn't that good on paper afterwards. I think Dan really hit the nail on the head. He didn't really have a goalie to grab. I know that's been his big thing this year. This isn't the goalie you want. Like John Gibson moved around more than anyone in the league probably. Every year he seems to get moved for usually more than this, but I just think for Dan, like it doesn't fix any problem he has. Um, Again, he didn't move any high picks or anything either. Like Sergachev, he's not a bad defensive by any means. Like he's definitely good. And Tom Wilson, like he's been a grit machine. Surprised those didn't keep him. But I don't know if Corey got enough for trading a goalie. And I don't think that goalie is good enough for Dan, if that makes sense. I know it seems to be a little contradictory there, but I don't like the trade for either one.
I can see that, to be honest, is I think if you're moving a goal, you should be getting at least a good pick in there.
Yeah.
On top of the player value. This seems like a Wilson for Gibson deal. And I'm not sure I would make that deal. But again,
Like
that
Wilson's
doesn't
a
solve Dan's issue. Like it doesn't fix his goaltending. Now he's got what, the Anaheim duo? Does he still have Dossel? I think he does. Like you're running
not sure.
you're running the Anaheim duo and Huso. Like that's not what I would call solid.
But like I think he's good getting off of Wilson. Like I think this is Wilson's first full year back. I have him in that elite league too, so like I kind of get it too. Like he is a grit machine, but again, he's gonna be a minus fucking 60 this year. He's taking a lot of pins this year too, so he's probably gonna start getting benched because a lot of like tripping and nonsense stuff. It's not like fights. He's just doing like stupid little shit. But yeah, like I said, like Dan didn't really pay a lot. Like, but again, that doesn't fix any of his problems. Now maybe he can move Huso and Gibson together in some picks now that might be appealing to someone who has like one really good goalie. Like I've approached Braden before, and good on Braden for Oettinger, where I offered him 2 goalies for one, and then other stuff, and he says no, which is good on him because Oettinger's 26-year-old stud. But that might be a play Dan might be working on too, right? Where John Gibson probably has more value in a goalie trade than Sergachev or Wilson. And if he can move Huso and Gibson to a guy who would give like 2 and 3 goalies, maybe he can get it done. But yeah, it doesn't fix the problem for sure.
Could have his problem fixed had he pulled the trigger on that Hellebuck deal.
Yeah, yeah, but
Hey, we're gonna stop here because we're gonna lose our free time, and we'll be back for part 2.